In an office building in North London, they've been watching an entire people being erased from the map.
This is Indian after the Scorched Earth campaign hit it. The Rohingya part of the village, as you can see from the brown, is completely burnt to the ground.
In one satellite photo after another, the pattern's the same. A village before and after it's attacked by the Burmese military and vigilantes. The brown areas, the burnt-out Rohingya homes. Untouched, the blue roofs of their non-Rohingya neighbours. Photographic evidence, says Amnesty International, of crimes demanding justice.
This is a widespread and systematic attack on the Rohingya population. It's on the Rohingya population on the basis of their ethnicity, of their religion. It's crimes of murder, crimes of rape, forcible transfer of the population. They are international crimes and they do need to be held to account. And at the moment, we're not hearing anything about justice and accountability.
Across Myanmar's Rakhine state, there have been mass rapes, killings and house burnings wherever there are Rohingya villages, forcing a mass exodus unseen since the Rwandan genocide. Fleeing to the city of Cox's Bazar in neighbouring Bangladesh, settlements further south, and since August the 25th, 500,000 more fleeing to find shelter in makeshift camps. In total, as many as 800,000 may have been forced to flee, leaving only 300,000 behind. The full horror of what is happening to the Rohingyas may only now be emerging, but they've been persecuted for years, and evidence of that has been gathered and handed into governments around the world, including Britain's. The world's leaders cannot claim they haven't known what is going on there.
The first letter we sent, 16th of April 2014.
The British government has been advised in writing since 2014 that a genocide is underway in Myanmar.
They are trying to remove the Rohingya. They're trying to destroy them as a group. If you remove the Rohingya from Rakhine State using violence, terror, murder, rape, destruction of property, that is a genocidal act. You are trying to destroy them as a people.
The UN calls it ethnic cleansing, but these experts in international law say that's given governments, including Britain's, an excuse for inaction.
I think the government is trying to shirk their responsibilities. They are trying to avoid the obligations that the Genocide Treaty places on them by not calling this what it is, not calling it genocide.
If you call it ethnic cleansing, it lets governments off the hook. And that is to the advantage of the Myanmar government.
We showed Sky's report from Rakhine State to Mark Field, Foreign Office Minister for Asia, and put those criticisms to him. This appears to be an attempt, a systematic attempt to wipe out an entire race. That's genocide, isn't it?
Well, listen, genocide is a legal term. I don't want to get all legalistic when I'm chatting with you, Dominic, on this, but I think it's one of the dangers about talking about genocide. Again, that is an issue that has to go through to the International Court of Justice to determine whether or not there's genocide. There is a problem on the ground now that we have to deal with. It's a little like all the talk about whether we take away the Nobel Prize of Aung San Suu Kyi. It's a bit of a sideshow in the scheme of things. The most important thing is we deal with the problems that we have now.
But critics say Britain and other nations can't do enough until they do recognise this as genocide. From the UN down, the world has seemed reluctant to do more to protect the Rohingyas. That, says one authority on Myanmar, will prove a huge mistake.
Western leaders simply do not want to put too much pressure on the Myanmar's fragile democracy. So what they're essentially saying is that we're willing to tolerate ethnic cleansing and genocide to protect this very, very fragile democracy, which is actually a contradiction in terms.
It's pretty flawed logic, isn't it?
It's extremely flawed logic. Here you have a situation in which a significant portion of your population is being ethnically cleansed, is being murdered, is being raped, and the West is essentially saying that this is okay. This is the kind of democracy that we welcome.
With most Rohingya now forced out of their country or killed, Burmese operations against them are slowing down, their mission close to accomplished. Ethnic cleansing or genocide, its perpetrators have so far got away with it. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News.